agency, the guy from IA at the Pierce County Sheriff's Office, that dude called me back and he was like, "Oh, we didn't feel our officer used excessive force." I'm like, "What you mean he didn't use excessive force? That man caused me pain. My fucking arm hurt the whole incident." You know what I'm saying? Damn. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? That's why they got body cameras and shit. So that way, you know what I'm saying, they can stop unlawful conduct, right? At least that's what they're supposed to be there for. You know what I mean? So I'm still looking for a lawyer, you know what I mean? I'm still putting in the effort. Called a bunch more people, you know what I'm saying? I called the Department of Justice, you know what I mean? I'm really finna take this as far as it needs to go because I'm saying I'm tired of this shit happening. And it's all because of the Washington State Democrats, you know what I'm saying? They create laws that don't apply to themselves, but they apply to the constituents of their state. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tired of it. I'd move if I could, but the people that I want to be around and stay with and deal with, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to move. So I have to, you know what I'm saying, take it upon myself to stay here. And that's cool, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind it. It just sucks because I don't want to be here. But they do. So I'm going to stay here and I'm going to do what I have to do and I'm going to stay within my rights because, I know what they are. Hence why after that whole incident that happened last week, August 21st, 2025, you know what I'm saying? I got my belongings put in a car. You know what I'm saying? I got my belongings put in the car. I got put in the car and then I got driven to where I needed to go. You know what I'm saying? Still got my arms, still went down to my local FFL and filled out paperwork for another one. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm buying more of them. You know what I'm saying? Then it's going to be out here with both of them. You know what I mean? There's nothing that they can do because I didn't do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's simply if we the people don't stand up to tyranny, you know what I'm saying, tyranny keeps happening. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like tyranny. I don't like it one bit. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the founding fathers wanted. That's not what I want. You know what I'm saying? I don't have guns because I'm a criminal. I don't have guns because I want to be out here brandishing guns and being willy nilly. And you know what I'm saying? That's not what it's about. It's simply I'm going to stand up for my rights because I don't trust people. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust the police to protect me. I trust myself. You know what I'm saying? The Supreme Court has come out and said the police are not here to protect you. They are here to enforce the law. You know what I'm saying? But they're allowed to break the laws that they enforce. I am not. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go through it and I'm going to be the law abiding citizen that I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? I get to go pick up my new one. What's going on with you, Jackson? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I go back to my local FFL September 11th, 2025 to go get my next one. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, I'm going to get a Ruger XRM and some Glock 19 stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to keep preparing and keep getting ready. And hopefully soon I'm going to be able to go take that armed endorsement class and, you know what I'm saying, be an armed security guard instead of just an unarmed one. You know what I mean? I got goals and aspirations and plans and big things, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to sit here and let people run over me. You know what I'm saying? I got AR-15s, I got, you know what I'm saying, multiple handguns, you know what I mean? Appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? You're cool too for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? And helping me out get my statistics up. You know what I'm saying? I'm one subscriber off from 100. You know what I mean? We got like 42,000 views on the channel. You know what I'm saying? I've been on YouTube for 20 years, but I've taken a lot of time off from it. And now I'm getting back to it. And, I'm doing the best I can. I'm not necessarily trying to get paid from YouTube. It would be nice. But at the same time, I'm just trying to, inform the people. What up, Charlie? Good looking, coming through. Appreciate it. You know what I mean? And all my other stuff, other than the handguns that I got here in Washington, you know what I'm saying? They're in Arizona where they belong. You know what I mean? I'm doing all right. Other than, you know what I'm saying? Like I said in the very beginning of this, I had my rights violated on August 21st, you know what I'm saying? 2025 at the Tacoma Mall Transit Center. You know what I'm saying? I live in Tacoma, Washington, but I'm not tripping because I've called a number of places. I've called, you know what I'm saying, the Department of Justice. I've called lawyers. I've done this. I've done that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to get no money out of a suit or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to hold these people accountable for what they did because that's what we the people are supposed to do. Government's supposed to work for us, we the people, the constituents. You know what I'm saying? We put them people in power. But it didn't work out that way for me. But like I said, I got all my stuff back. You know what I'm saying? I got my belongings. You know what I'm saying? Everything is cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna hold these people accountable for what they did because that's what we need. You know what I'm saying? What you don't hear about is the 250 cases, 250,000 cases a year. I'm saying where firearms are justifiably used to save lives. I'm saying I've been in 5 self-defense situations. You know what I'm saying since I turned 21. I'm 32 years old. I'm saying I've had 4 self-defense incidents in the state of Arizona, and I've had one here. You know what I mean? And all of those situations, I could have justifiably taken a life, but I chose not to because I don't want the legal liability of taking somebody's life. That means I go to the police station. You know what I'm saying? Hello, Jordan. Thank you for tuning in. That means I go sit in the interrogation room. That means I sit around and I have to wait for the state and the city and the county to do ballistics and all of this. And then on top of that, you know what I'm saying, you can be sued civilly and criminally for your actions. You know, I just don't want that legal liability because I know that it takes time, it costs money, and I don't want to spend money to, you know what I'm saying, be sued. I don't want to have to take somebody's life. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I know that it could either be me or somebody else. You know what I'm saying? My last self defense incident, I was hanging out with 5 of my friends. You know what I'm saying? We were sitting down talking, enjoying the weather, having fun. You know what I'm saying? There's somebody down the platform because we was at an old train station. You know what I'm saying? This person's doing what they're doing, but he keep looking at us. You know what I'm saying? And we keep, an eye on him. The man had a hatchet on him. You know what I'm saying? And he kept eyeing the waistline. You know what's there. You know what I'm saying? And eventually I had to reach for it. You know what I mean? I'm glad I didn't have to pull it because had I done that, you know what I'm saying, I would have had to use it. You know what I mean? But eventually I got the guy to go the other way after he done wild up the 2 dogs that's sitting there. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm glad I avoided that situation because, like I said, I don't want to have to hurt somebody. I don't want to be hurt. You know what I'm saying? The whole incident that I had at the Tacoma Mall, you know what I'm saying? Just because somebody seen a firearm on me doesn't mean I was breaking the law. You know what I'm saying? They tried to ban me. They tried to, you know what I'm saying, take my stuff. They illegally searched my belongings. They held me in a car until my extremities went numb. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. I'm a disabled American, which is why I have guns to begin with, because, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight anybody. I can, but I won't. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm just out here trying to protect myself, my family, and make it to work and do my job and come home safely to my family. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that's all I want to do is make it home to my family and do what's right. You know? So I'm not even mad. I just don't like tyrants, you know what I'm saying? I don't like tyranny. I don't like the fact that, you know what I'm saying, people can sit here and tell me what I can and cannot do in my life. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me what I can and cannot do. You know what I'm saying? I just tried to turn my beats off because, you know what I'm saying, I had charged them up and they tried to connect to the phone, but I have another headset connected. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to hurt nobody. I'm not trying to break the law. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying, go above my means and put bad juju out in the air. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I've been a legal, law abiding citizen for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? know what laws apply to me. I know when they apply. I know how to de-escalate situations. I know how to escalate situations. You know what I'm saying? I just try to be the best person that I can be because I know what can happen. I know, you know what I'm saying, trouble can find you. I had that happen. You know what I'm saying, a week after I turned 21, I got ran up on, got an AK-47 and a Glock 17 put in my face in a park full of kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for trouble, but I know it can find me. So, with that being said, I choose to be armed. You know what I'm saying? I choose to put forth the effort and be the best that I can be. And you know what I'm saying? That's how I choose to live my life. I'm literally sitting here applying for jobs, got some interviews lined up in the next couple of days. You know what I'm saying? I got to work tonight at the bar. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm not even mad. I'm just trying to make more money for myself and my family. You know what I'm saying? I'm slowly but surely saving money. I've got just a little bit of money saved up, so I got a lot more to save. But in the next 2 to 5 years, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna buy a house, so that way I don't have to live in apartments and this and that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to not be fighting with the woman that I love, my wife, you know what I'm saying, and the kids, so I can see them on a regular basis. You know, we're just trying to be the best we can be out here. And if people had more compassion, you know what I'm saying, just because the officer seen the gun on me, if he would have simply said, sir, that's open. It's not supposed to be. Him saying, do you have a permit? This, that, the other. I would have simply said, yes, sir, I do. Covered it up, called it a day. But you know what I'm saying? They want to push the issue, so I'm going to push the issue. You know what I'm saying? Police officers can violate your rights, and it's all okay unless you stand up to the tyranny. You know what I mean? Unless you stand up to it, it's not going to change. I'm going to stand up to it. I've had to do this multiple times. You know what I'm saying? I've been using the transit system for, you know what I'm saying, 2 decades. You know what I'm saying? Here in Washington, California, Arizona, Tennessee, you know what I'm saying? New York City, or, you know what I'm saying? I've been all over the country. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be within my rights, rules, and regulations in every place that I'm at. So they all come with me. You know what I mean? Just like how they say felonies follow you no matter where you go. You know what I'm saying? Laws pertaining to guns, they follow you. You know what I mean? There's some things that I agree with, there's some things that I don't. You know what I'm saying? I personally think waiting periods are unconstitutional, but what can I do? What can I say? I gotta follow the law. And currently, the law states I have waiting periods, so I'm gonna go through them. Like I said, September 11th, 2025, I get another gun. And then after that, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep building my arsenal. You know what I'm saying? I gotta try and get something a little smaller than my 9 millimeter. You know what I'm saying? So I can teach the kids how to shoot and the wife how to shoot. So, you know, that's gonna happen. But I'm also trying to get stuff that I'm gonna try and use at work, and you know, because I'm trying to expand my career. I gotta go get my TWIC card from the Department of Homeland Security. I gotta go all the way up north to do that. That's not a problem. The thing of that is the cost. You know what I'm saying? But here in another week or two, I'm gonna have the money to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even mad about that. We gonna get that license, and that's valid for 5 years. And then we're gonna try and go do security on cruise ships, you know what I'm saying? Then after that, we get passports, you know what I'm saying? And then global re-entry cards, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm also trying to get into executive protection. We just trying to be the best we can be. We gonna do it because that's all we can do. You know what I'm saying? That's all we can do is put forth the effort. If you don't put forth the effort, nobody's gonna do it for you. So I'm gonna put forth the effort and I'm gonna make happen what I need to, not just for myself and my safety, but for my family's safety and their sake. You know what I mean? She don't really like guns, but at the same time, she don't really know nothing about them. So, you know what I'm saying? How do you break that stigma for somebody that doesn't know anything about guns, never shot guns? You know what I'm saying? You have to take a chance. You have to understand. You have to learn. You have to put forth effort. So that's what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she'll ever carry a gun, but I'm definitely gonna give her the ability to learn how to shoot them because hey, shooting guns is one of my favorite hobbies and my favorite pastimes. You know what I mean? I definitely need to just continue putting in the effort and being the best that I can be because that's all I know. And so I'm doing that, acquiring firearms. I'm looking for better jobs. I'm looking for more jobs. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to work as much as I can for the next, 5 to 10 years and build my wealth and my net worth. You know what I'm saying? Because I had some net worth and had some savings, and then some stuff had happened to me, and I had to change it up, and I had to use the savings and the money that I had. It's all okay. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna get back to where we need to be. Thank y'all for tuning in and watching the channel. Without me, I wouldn't be, I'm saying, the content creator. Without you guys, the channel wouldn't grow, wouldn't become more. So, it's a give and take. It's a effort on both parts. If it wasn't for you guys, my channel would be dead. But it's not dead. We're constantly growing. I've got over 500 shorts up. I've got 30 or 40 lives up. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I took like 20 years off of YouTube. I been at it every day like I have been for the last like year and a half. You know what I'm saying? My channel would be in the millions. And I'm not mad. Things happen. It is what it is. Just put in that effort or don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. If you don't get a job, how are you gonna get your first job? If you don't, you know what I'm saying, get behind the wheel of a car, how are you gonna learn to drive to get your license? You know what I'm saying? Somebody has to take a chance on you somewhere. So, that's all you can do. Like I have interviews set up for another security job on Tuesday, after I get my other firearms, after I get, I'm saying, more work, more hours. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go get my CPR and AED certification, which I've had before. I just wasn't in the industry for quite some time. So, my licenses and whatnot expired. So I have to go renew those, which isn't nothing because things expire if you don't keep them up. You know what I'm saying? You won't get where you want to be, you know? Like I said, I'm going to go get that TWIC card. I'm going to go get a global reentry card. I'm going to go get a passport, and I'm going to maintain these licenses. I'm trying to stay on full time work and keep working. Eventually, I'm saying, I'm going to have $15,000, $20,000 just set aside to, put toward the career and the jobs, maintaining licenses, concealed weapons permits, this, that, the other, you know, then I'm eventually going to buy a house, and like I said, I don't really like my mother-in-law, but you know what? I'm even going to allow her to be there, because I know she's getting older, things is happening, and, she's going to need help. So I'm going to be there to do it as much as I don't want to. I'm a dad. So I got to put in that work. I got to put in that drive and determination to, be the best that I can be. Thank you. Hello. I hope you're doing well. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for tuning in to the channel. If you have not tuned in before, thank you for looking at the channel. You know what I'm saying? Go back and watch the shorts and the lives and tell me what you think, Let me know what I can and cannot uh, improve. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always looking for knowledge. I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to be better. That's what I do in my day and my life. You know what I'm saying? I've never been a stagnant person. You know what I'm saying? In February, I graduated from college with a business degree. Still trying to get jobs in that field, in that industry. If it happens, okay. If it doesn't, I got the knowledge for what I needed. I'm just a constant knowledge seeker, trying to be the best I can be, not just for myself and my family, but those around me. You know what I'm saying? I met somebody a couple of weeks ago that was like, oh, I want to start buying firearms and this and that. I was like, I have some, you know what I'm saying, I can teach you if you want to go to the shooting range, now you have my number, let me know. And I'm still waiting to hear back from her about that. If not, that's cool too. I just try to be the best I can be, just trying to put forth the effort and gain the knowledge for myself. And that's all I can do. I literally, like I said, called the Department of Justice. You know what I'm saying? I've called some lawyers, I've called some pro bonos people, I've, you know what I'm saying, done everything that I can. And now it's a waiting game. I'm waiting on phone calls. I'm waiting on body cam video. I'm waiting on, you know what I'm saying, officers' names and badge numbers and things like that because I'm going to hold these people accountable for what they did to me a couple of weeks ago, as should every one of you. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't let somebody just run over you. If you let somebody run over you, you know what I'm saying, you're going to lose the rights that you have. And then, you know what I'm saying, tyranny succeeds. And I'm not one for that. So I'm just going to wait this amount of time out that I need to. I'm going to file my complaints with the Department of Transportation, the Federal Transit Administration, and all of these other people. And that's all we're going to do is hold them accountable. Because if we don't, Simpson, what happens? We lose the rights that we have, even though they say inalienable, shall not be infringed. You know what I'm saying? You have the right to unlawful search and seizure. And, you know what I'm saying? You have the right to, you know what I'm saying, not have cruel and unusual punishment and all these things. You know what I mean? The only way we're going to keep up with our Constitution on the federal level and even on the state level is, you know what I'm saying, holding the lawmakers accountable. So that's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? Of course, it's going to take time. It's not an easy road, but you know what I'm saying? I'm going to win. I'm going to be the best that I can. I'm just looking at a notification that had said something about Jellyful and his new song, so I'll check that out a little later after I get off this live. But, you know, stand up for yourselves, stand up for your family, you know, be the best you can be, not just for yourself, but for them and even anybody else that you come into contact with. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very kind, compassionate person. If I have something that I can spare to somebody, I'm always for it. If they are in need and they can prove that, you know what I mean? I've been homeless. I've lived in cars. I've lived in tents. I've lived in apartments. I've lived in houses. You know what I'm saying? I've been all around the country. I've seen a lot of things. I've met a lot of people. I've just been the best person that I can be, and I'm going to continue to be that, not just for me, but also for the YouTube community, because there are people that, you know, learn things and see new things from my channel, and I see new things from being, on other people's channels and being live and whatnot. So, you know, that's all we can be. I just hope that, as you guys come in and you look at my channel and you look at what I go through, it helps you understand and be, you know what I'm saying, more kind and compassionate and understanding to others in your lives, you know what I'm saying, because life is precious, you know what I'm saying, we don't know how long it's going to last, we don't know how long we're going to be here, so you got to enjoy it while you can, you know what I'm saying. I was going to try and file a couple of complaints on the federal level with the Federal Transit Authority, but it said when I was filling out that application that I have to wait for the local agencies to try and rectify the issue. You know what I'm saying? I called one person, another person called me back today. They said they're still working on it, so it's going to be a long road. I'm not mad. I just want to hold people accountable for the screwed up things that they do. You know what I'm saying? I just heard yesterday that, you know what I'm saying, there was some school shootings in Minneapolis. My personal belief on that is, you know what I'm saying, teachers need to be armed in schools. And if they were, they could prevent shootings in schools and churches and, you know what I'm saying, all the places that they say we're not allowed to carry courthouses and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Civilians aren't allowed to carry courthouses and whatnot, but law enforcement is. So if, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, they took that and they did the best that they could, they would prevent these things. And in a lot of places they do, in some places they don't. At the end of the day, you don't really know somebody's intentions. So, you know what I'm saying? So there's nothing that I can do to, learn somebody's intentions. I can just, put my intentions out there and be the best that I can be. So with that being said, that's all I'm going to do because that's what I know. And I'm just going to go from there. You know, I've got another Ruger SR9C coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that my local range gets opened up here soon. I walked in there to do my paperwork. They say it's still going to be at least another 6 months, maybe longer. But I'm going to keep waiting and I'm going to keep going to other places and getting more and more proficient. You know what I'm saying? I've been looking at some defensive tactics and classes and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that. I got to find a workout buddy because I don't like working out alone. But I definitely would like to start getting into the gym. Maybe I can, you know what I'm saying, talk to my brother about that and we can start going to the gym together or doing calisthenics together. You know what I'm saying? He used to be like 180 pounds, 200 pounds and fit. Now that he's had kids, he's kind of been back on the junk food and playing the video games. You know what I'm saying? So he's like 250, 265. You know what I'm saying? The biggest I've ever seen my brother. So I'm kind of like, man, you got to change that. You know what I'm saying? So I'll talk to him about that and we'll see what happens. I'm supposed to go over there this weekend, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that because I have to work. But excuse me. I'm just gonna, like I said, continue to be the best person I can be for my friends, my family, and you know what I'm saying, just regular people. I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in, looking at my channel, helping me grow. You know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't for the viewers, I wouldn't be a content creator, just like if it wasn't for, you know what I'm saying, the people that contribute to my business, I wouldn't be a business owner. So, you know what I'm saying, there's more to come. Um, like I said, waiting on my local range to open, and I've gone to a couple other ones. You know what I'm saying? And I know I can start recording and whatnot. I got to get another tripod because I broke the one I had, but I'm going to get another tripod. I'm going to start putting up, you know what I'm saying, my shooting days and range days. And, you know what I'm saying, hopefully I can record my um, qualification class so that way, you know what I'm saying, you guys can see that. And there's a bunch of caveats in Washington State for an armed endorsement. You know what I'm saying? It's a classroom test and then it's on the range shooting test. So there's that. I don't think I'm going to do that until I get my Ruger XRM because I was talking with a guy out in Seattle that does armed security, and he was saying that the Ruger XRM, because it's a Glock clone, it fits in Glock 19 holsters. It's a Gen 3 clone, and I've really been looking at one of those. I actually just looked at one of those in my local FFL store when I had gone to do the paperwork on my Ruger SR9C. I've excuse me, I've owned 12 of the Ruger SR9Cs. Uh, I've still got a couple of them. A couple of them got transferred states. A couple of them got lost and stolen when houses and cars got broken into. But I have sentimental value to it because that was one of the first guns that I had ever fired. And you know what I'm saying, when I first got into shooting, I noticed muzzle flash because it was dark where I went with my family members where I was at in Arizona, and you know what I'm saying, I seen the muzzle flash and I fell in love and I've been shooting guns ever since. You know what I'm saying, I shot AR-15s, 38s, 45s, 40 cals, 9 mils, 22s, and a few others. You know, I just don't have all the money in the world to devote to shooting, but I had seen a video on YouTube that's on Lena Michelik's channel. She was out with one of her friends, and the guy has acreage and has spent like $2.5 million on the range that he built. So, you know, maybe I can find something like that, an outdoor range, and I can just keep getting more and more proficient. I very much want to start shooting supine because that's one of my favorite shooting positions, but you can't do that in an indoor range. You need an outdoor range for that, and I haven't found but one or two outdoor ranges here that are close, local, that I can, you know, catch a bus to and make it an all day trip because I don't think the wife would, you know what I'm saying, drive me out to these places. I don't think she's ready for that, but I've also got to prepare for that because, you know what I'm saying, I definitely want to teach her how to use guns because it's not just owning a gun and shooting a gun. It's a big stress reliever for me. You know what I mean? I can be mad and aggravated and irritated. I can go to the range, pop off a couple rounds, and then I'm calm, cool, and collected again. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I didn't want to stay live for too long. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to give you guys an update on how things are going with, you know what I'm saying, the incident that happened to me on August 21st and what's going on with that. And then I also wanted to give you guys an update on, you know what I'm saying, the waiting period I have to go through here in Washington State, which I think I still have like another 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Because it's 10 business days, which is 2 weeks. I've only waited just a couple of days. So September 11th, 2025 is the day that I get to go get my new gun, which it isn't new, it's used, but it is new to me and I've owned it. In fact, I actually have one with me. I have a Ruger SR9C in black. I purchased another one in black. Hopefully, I can get like a little 22 rifle and a 22 handgun for the wife and the kids to learn on, which that's in the works. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for commenting, showing up. There's more to come. I appreciate it. You know, without me, without you, I wouldn't be the content creator that I am. You know what I'm saying? Without me putting these up, you guys wouldn't see the content that I create. So, thank you very much. It goes full circle, and I very much do appreciate it. Enjoy the day, YouTube. I hope you have a great one, and I hope you continue to tune in.